Fresh off the presses in Ashburn, Washington has just called off joint practice with the Baltimore Ravens. There will be no litmus test for the team in the final week of the preseason due to scheduling conflicts. Let's talk about it. What it do and what's going on again, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. Per Nikki Jabwala of The Athletic, a statement from the Baltimore Ravens and from Dan Quinn, head coach of our Washington Commanders, there will no longer be joint practice between the Washington Commanders and Baltimore Ravens in the final week of the preseason. We were looking forward to seeing Lamar and company versus Jaden, another title aspiration team versus right in front of us, and get a little test of how good we look going into the season. But with how weirdly our schedule is to close the preseason, it was just never going to work out. I think this may have been in the cards already, and it could be why Dan Quinn pushed up and made this scrimmage, the burgundy and gold scrimmage during this week, because Washington doesn't have a preseason game this week, but they have two next week. So this is how the schedule would have ended up playing out if they didn't call off these practices. Washington has a preseason Monday night late-ass game in prime time. Then there was going to be joint practice on Wednesday with the Baltimore Ravens. And then there was going to be a preseason finale on Saturday, August the 23rd. So it just didn't actually work out for the team. Dan Quinn's comments on the canceled joint practice. Sometimes just schedules don't sync up as it hits. I was visiting with John last night. We're bummed. We got a lot of respect for them, and we were looking forward to it. It doesn't affect the playing time decisions for starters in the final two preseason games. We were never going to see starters in the final preseason game, but we're anticipating seeing starters on Monday night. So your last really live starter reps are happening on Monday night. We're not going to get that joint practice. And so the last real work our team's going to get versus another franchise will be on this Bengals game, Monday Night Football from Northwest Stadium. So, damn, I was looking forward to that. You know, the Ravens are a team, Josh Harris and this team definitely looks up to, that they want to build something like infrastructure-wise, culture-wise, roster management, drafting. You know, they're a team that you want to, resemble at its core. And I think us being a Maryland team and a DC team, we should be doing joint practice with the Ravens as much as possible. But we'll get back to it next year. We're not going to be able to do it this year. Called it off. And the scrimmage was the last joint practice this team is going to be having in the 2025 season. Let me know what your thoughts are about that. I see the Ravens put out something as well on the joint practices being canceled. I'm kind of bummed about it. I'm not going to hold you. I'm kind of bummed about it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see Lamar versus Jaden. Every time I can get a Lamar versus Jaden, even if it's in practice, I want that. But we're not going to get joint practice. We're going to call it a day with the New England Patriots joint practices this year. And we're a couple weeks away from the NFL regular season starting. We're getting an early start to the NFL season this year. First game of the season, September 4th. The first game for Washington is September 7th. So we're drawing very close. We're 24 days away from NFL kickoff Sunday. It probably would have been doing far too much if they would have tried to hold a Monday night preseason game, a joint practice, and the preseason finale all in a 6-day span during the preseason. It's a pretty heavy workload. And as you can see, Washington, with some of the injuries we have and guys getting banged up, getting back into it, that was never going to work out for the team. But no joint practices. We also brought in a safety. We signed safety Daryl Worley, 3rd-round pick back in 2016. A depth piece. Oh, well, he's a corner. He's a corner. I said safety. He's a cornerback. We added some more depth to that cornerback room. He's going to replace either the injured Bobby Price or Kevon Seymour. Probably not a guy that necessarily makes the final roster. The cornerback room is one that has seen the most significant uptick and upgrade from last year. You go from a room with Michael Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, and Benjamin St-Juste to Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore, Mikey Sainristil, Noah Igbenogany, and Jonathan Jones as your main 2 reserves and rotational pieces in the room. This guy's been in the league for a while now. This is his 10th NFL season. We're talking Daryl Worley. Nothing to ride home around statistically, but he's played plenty of football. He's played plenty of football in his career, played 9 games last year for the Titans, had 52 tackles, 1 pick. Nothing crazy. You know, he's played 9 games, 12 games for the Baltimore and 8 games the year before. Not a guy that we need to make an entire video to be featured about, but welcome to the team, Daryl Worley. We tried out 4 DBs, 7 linebackers. We tried out about everything, and I know what question's going to follow. When are we going to start trying out wide receivers? I think this team only is keeping 5 wide receivers, and they're going to be adding a couple guys to the practice squad, and they're going to be perusing the waiver wire once final cuts go down. And final cuts are coming up sooner than you think. After the preseason finale versus the Ravens on August 23rd, a couple days after that on Tuesday, cut down day is coming. So everything's happening fast. We need to get a Terry McLaurin contract done because we need him out there and getting in game shape and ready for week 1 of the season, as that's drawing closer and closer. 3 weeks and some change away. Washington canceled joint practice with the Ravens and signed cornerback Daryl Worley. That is all I got for right now. Just wanted to give y'all a quick update that joint practices were canceled. Fans were never going to be allowed to such joint practice anyway, but we were definitely looking forward to the updates coming from the park. And we brought in a depth cornerback piece. Nothing to get too excited or low about. We're getting ready for this preseason game on Monday night versus Cincinnati Bengals. That's going to be the last that we hear and see of any type of starters until September 7th when the Giants are in town. I'll be previewing the Bengals game and the 2025 season outlook for the Bengals with my guy Zim, DMV native, in a couple hours on the channel. I will see y'all then. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.